When I was in the 7th grade, I was riding my bike home after tearing up my best friend playing basketball after school. So I had a bit of an attitude, approaching one of the busiest intersections of the city. I looked to my left and saw a kid glaring at me as he slowly rode in the passenger seat of some funky Impala. Taking the bait, I said, "Yeah, you better keep driving." Just then, my right foot slipped in between the forks in the front tire. It stopped on a dime. The back of the bike immediately flipped over the top of me. I flew into the air and rolled a few times. My backpack pulled a Michael Jordan into the intersection, and then my bike landed on top of me. As I lay there with the pedals of my bike flossing my teeth, cars flying by, Impala punk laughing hysterically, I took a deep breath, looked up to the heavens, and said, "This was good for me." Well, that wasn't the last time that I've dealt with pride or bit the dust on the outside because of a struggle with ego on the inside. You see, I grew up with 3 sisters, and with our dad being raised in a severely abusive home, he didn't have a healthy model to follow in emotionally connecting with his daughters. My dad is my hero, and despite the amazing job he did, I saw how his vulnerability without the right tools challenged their relationship. So when my 2 daughters grew into their teenage years, I became aware of this inherent impulse to control their decisions. I found myself expecting a lot from them with my head, way more than I was connecting with them through my words and with my heart. They could feel unspoken disappointment for me if they were dating who I would judge as the wrong guy, or posting things on social media I thought was not a good look for them. You know better. You know the right thing to do. I know the right thing for you to do. Scoot over. I will help you do the right thing. And it came to a head when my oldest daughter told me, "You make me doubt myself. And I want to do the right thing." What's extra hypocritical is that for 25 years, my world has largely been in the nonprofit space, working with families, and seeing the same pattern with other girl dads. I've been around it a long time as a primary leader, and yet here I am stuck and ill-equipped. I was not protecting my daughters. I was protecting myself. I wasn't building their confidence. I became a primary source of their insecurity. This was pretty much the bottom of the barrel for me as a dad, because I realized that a lack of consistent and healthy communication speaks. It speaks neglect. And like me, too many dads share a passive love language called silence. Dr. Michelle Watson founded the ABBA Project in 2010, a 9-month educational process to equip dads with daughters ages 13 to 30. And drawing from decades of clinical counseling practice, she shares her primary key observation when dealing with dads of daughters. Men would rather do nothing than do it wrong. But doing nothing, she says, is doing it wrong. So I began to start talking. First, psychologists, friends, dads of daughters who were older and wiser than me. I also talked with dads who were more jacked up than me. "Sam, how did you get better?" Simple. I talked and listened to other dads share their story and found out they were way worse than me. When I began talking out loud, my strange ways of thinking started sounding pretty ridiculous. There were things I would share with mentors about my approach with my daughters, and before I could speak the 4th sentence, even I couldn't agree with myself. I experienced this transparency as light that brought power, but I realize it demands a lot of humility. I still have a ways to go. As a man, it's hard to face my own hypocrisy. The lost time, things I cannot go back and change with my daughters, these are by far the most painful things I deal with. and it's so fun to stretch emotionally. But pushing through is creating results with my daughters. Dads, it's worth it because the influence we have with them is unparalleled. Dr. Watson cites in her book, Let's Talk, that research consistently supports that every area of girls' lives is better when they feel connected to their fathers, including better grades, higher likelihood of continuing high school and college, less body dissatisfaction, experience less depression, less likely to attempt suicide, more apt to find steady employment, even delaying premarital sex. I can hear dads downloading that book right now. Having healthier relationships with men and displaying more pro-social empathy. Dads, we are empowered when we model to our daughters how they should be treated with kindness, respect, acceptance, owning up when we make mistakes. We're adding a measure of safety to them as they face their own vulnerabilities in life. As we occupy that special place in our daughters' hearts, their expectations are raised for a great future in life and relationships. Now, as we talk with others for accountability's sake, it softens our voice to engage with our daughters in healthier conversation. Recently, both of my girls told me how much they've enjoyed our times together, our talking and laughing, my listening, and learning to ask more intelligent questions about their world. But most of all, they thanked me for continuing to stretch to get better at this. There's a lot of progress to be made, but I'll count that as a win. When fathers use their words, they're able to build vulnerable relationships with their daughters. Dads, I want you to download the Dialed In Dad Checklist from drmichellewatson.com. This is your starting point for honest self-evaluation for how you're doing as a dad when it comes to connecting with your daughter. Text your daughter to tell her she means the world to you and that you'll do whatever is necessary to earn her trust and win her heart. In a world filled with so much noise, what is more reassuring for a daughter than hearing more loving words from her father? When dads lean in like this, powerful young women will rise high.